Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by GulfCoast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have provided North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 25 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, your weekly program to help clarify and add some common sense to the financial, the economic world, and providing guidance for us and perspective. John Kuykendall, president and founder of GulfCoast Financial Services, named Best of the Best in financial services by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, 7 years now and running. So if you've got questions, you're a resource, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. John, on today's program, going to be talking about something that every saver and investor wants, and that's identifying better opportunities for our dollars to work a little harder.
Well, that's right, Peter. I mean, our money has to work harder now than ever before. Taxes are changing. Investments. We've been on this bull market for way too long. Something's going to happen in the future. And so we can't afford as prices rise too. I mean, just look at how much prices are going up with inflation this year. So we can't afford to have our money sitting in the sidelines. It has to be out there playing for us, as I like to say. And so we need to have it doing like Tom Brady, throwing those touchdowns.
He's been good at that for a very, very long time. He doesn't seem to have many bear markets in his career. He's go and the longevity there.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What?
In a sport like football, where you're taking that kind of physical abuse, just the way he's been able to maintain.
Well, Peter, the thing about it is I read an article about Tom, and the way he does it is through his regimen. He is very regimented. He gets up at the same time. He has the same breakfast. He does his workouts. His whole day is planned out every day. And he lives that all through the year. And you can see it in the way that he looks, the way he plays, and the fact that he hasn't had any major injuries. Yep. And so if we did that with our financial plans, if we were our retirement plans, if we were that regimented that we got everything in order and then we monitored it and followed up with it every day, we'd be so much better off.
Yeah, we'd be in pretty good shape as he is, and think what you want of the guy. Can't argue with his success and the fact that he's kept himself in pretty good shape. So
he has.
We're looking for some opportunities out there to do the same, John. When we talk about our money, one thing that I think all investors have in common is the goal for growth. Now, we've seen a fantastic market. Continuing forward, are there still opportunities out there for growth on our money? And how do we identify them if so?
Well, I think there are, Peter. I mean, there's always opportunities for growth because if one sector of the market's down, another sector's up. There's also, annuities and life insurance where we can lock in our gains every year and not have to worry about losing gains. So there are a lot of opportunities there. But the thing that always gets me is, somebody called me the other day and they heard about this stock that was up 400% and they thought they should get in it. And I told them, I said, well, we should have gotten in it, a month ago. And then you could have gotten out without losing your money. But how do you know where this is going? It always reminds me of the guy that wanted to buy the Jacobs Internet Fund back in 2000 when it had done like 80%. And he went ahead and against my wishes and did invest in it, eventually lost all of his money because it eventually went broke. But we can't chase the quick fix. There is no quick fix. Mama said there's no free lunch. And so we're going to pay. And so what we need to do is a simplified, disciplined approach to picking the winners, looking with some financial help through a financial advisor, and then keeping consistent in our approach as we go forward.
The long-term view of the investment portfolio really is one of, I think, the most critical components of success. We can't be enticed by the stock of the moment or the darling on the newscast for the day, because a lot of times flashes in the pan fade out pretty quickly.
And too, you got to remember, your neighbor will always make more money than you do, no matter what you're invested in. So you can't listen to your neighbors and your friends and expect to have a disciplined approach to investment. And the thing about it is that when we retire, if you retired 65, there's a good chance that you could have a 35-year retirement now. And that's long-term from what I'm thinking. And so we have to have a long-term approach.
Well, opportunities for protection of the gains that we've made and the progress that we've seen. Another thing that investors and savers are looking for, John. Now, those types of opportunities to simply protect what we have, those are more traditional and time-tested, yet available, and something that we should be taking a look at from time to time.
We should. And as I said earlier, the annuities now, we can lock in our gains so that we don't have to worry about the market going down. And we can also, with life insurance, we can do the same thing. I looked at a chart the other day, and the S&P 500, 40% of the S&P 500 with no losses made more money than 100% of the S&P 500 over 20 years with the losses. So we can take a little bit less of the gain, but limit the losses, and we can end up making more money over the long term.
So protection may play a vital, critical role in our long-term financial planning, retirement planning, and in fact, John, at certain stages in that financial progress, probably a pretty necessary component of the overall plan.
Well, it is, Peter, because one thing is when we retire, we don't have an income. We're our income. We're taking the money that we've saved and we're paying ourselves every month back from that. And if that isn't protected some way, if we don't have a defined guaranteed source of income, then we're not going to be able to do the things we want to do in retirement. And I can't afford to lose 30 or 40% of my portfolio and expect to live the same lifestyle. I don't have the time to make it up. So it's different, than someone who's 30.
Not what you make, what you keep. Another big opportunity right now, tax opportunities, John.
Taxes are just, the big talk, because tax proposals, taxes are changing constantly. Since we came out with that Secure Act in December of 19, the first of 2020, we've had more changes to the tax laws than I can think of in a long time, and more changes to the way we do estate planning. If you haven't had your plan looked at since all these tax laws changed, and even with the proposals that are going to be proposed, you need to take a look at it. You need to get those updated, and you need to figure out where you are. There are a lot of things that we can do tax-wise to limit the taxes that we pay. I believe that we should pay what we have to pay, but we shouldn't pay more than we need to pay.
Well, what about income? Because income is something that we seek, especially as we transition to retirement. There are a lot of people making that transition or who have recently made that transition, looking for the opportunities to be efficient and create more income is going to be something of value to a lot of us as we move from our working career to retirement and even beyond.
Well, that's right, Peter. And, that's one thing we look at here is the income gap. So when you retire, we look at how much money you're going to need each month to pay all of your bills and to do your traveling. And then we're going to look at where your guaranteed sources of income. For a lot of people, the only guaranteed source is Social Security. And that supposedly makes up about 40% of our guaranteed income. We don't have pensions anymore because they did away with those back in 87 when they came out with that 401k plan. So what we're going to do is look at that, figure out what the income gap is, and then we want to bridge it with either some kind of annuities or some kind of life insurance so that we can not have all of our money having to come out of our investment portfolio. We can't rely on the shortfall to totally come out of our investment portfolio, because in down markets, we know we're going to be pulling money out. In a down market, we're going to run out of money sooner.
And in fact, John, you've got this list of 10 things people do to be successful in retirement. And that income plan really is number one and number two. They understand that income is their biggest wealth building tool, and they have a spending plan and stick to it.
Well, that's right, Peter. And how many people retire and don't have a spending plan? They have no idea how they're going to live. They just know, I've got this money saved up. I'm going to take this trip. I'm going to buy this. A lot of people say, well, the first thing I'm going to do is pay my house off, and I'm going to get totally out of debt. Well, that's fine if you can afford it. But if you can't afford it, there are other ways to do this without that happening. So we need to make sure that we're covered.
Well, a few other opportunities I think were included in that list that should not be overlooked, John. Investing 15% of gross household income toward retirement. That is a great opportunity. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize their full savings potential because they haven't set that plan in motion.
Well, that's right. We don't set up a plan to automatically. If you'll automatically set it up, I guarantee you that you will never miss it. It's just the idea of having to do it, but so many people put it off. The other thing on here too is don't borrow from your 401k. How many people, I had a client that I always kid with, how many people borrow from their 401k and think, well, that's okay because I'm borrowing from myself and I'm paying myself back. But what I've done is I've taken my money out of my investments and I'm paying myself back a fixed rate, whatever it is. Usually it's less than 5% or less. So that if the market's up 20, I'm going to make 5. That doesn't seem very good. The other thing too is a lot of people, when they build up a little bit of a retirement account, instead of rolling that to a new job or rolling that out, they want to take the money and spend it because it's like found money. But it's your retirement.
Yeah. They borrow from themselves and end up paying the IRS back. A lot of times is what happens too, because if we leave that job looking for further career advancement, or because we are forced to for whatever reason, and there's a loan outstanding, it immediately becomes taxable. If we're under 59 and a half, there's the penalty. So these are all reasons why you don't want to borrow from that 401k. It's a retirement tool, not a piggy bank. John, the best opportunity I think on this list, number 10 of things that successful people do, they meet regularly with an investment, financial, and retirement planning professional.
That's right, Peter. And actually, I'd tell you the people that are having the best retirement, I can guarantee you, are the ones that are meeting with their financial advisors. They know where they are. They're taking advantage of tax situation. They're limiting their taxes. They're making sure that they're not overpaying, and they're doing it all. And those people have confidence that their money's going to last them, and so therefore they have a great retirement. It's not easy when you're always worried about the market. What's the market doing? Is the market down? Is the market up? You can't enjoy retirement.
Well, it's traditionally the time of year, John, where many people kind of put their finances and their planning on the back burner, but those proactive people who are identifying these opportunities, that are taking part in these steps that will lead to a better likelihood of success, these great opportunities, they're being proactive. They are still thinking about these things. This year in particular, maybe a little bit more of our time is even taken away from that focus, but we need to be proactive in order to address some of these financial concerns that still linger. And I know that is the big offer and the value of this program, is that you offer people not only the reminder, but the opportunity to take action. Maybe one of the best opportunities we'll talk about today.
That's right, Peter. We'd be more than happy to talk with anyone about financial planning, about making sure they have the right estate documents, also talking about tax planning. We love to do that. It's what we do day in and day out.
Well, if you would like to take advantage of that offer, pick up the phone, give a call to GulfCoast Financial Services, named best of the best in financial services, 7 years and running as named by the Lake City Reporter readers, and you can find out why. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. You can also go online, GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net. John, always appreciate your guidance, helping to provide some clarity to this complicated financial world.
Thank you, Peter. It is complicated. Let's hope we can get it a little simpler.
There are some things, actually, John, just a quick note, that may not be overly complicated, but you certainly don't want to get wrong. Because then it becomes complicated, and that's the kind of thing that I think it's just easier to double check with the help of a financial planner, of an advisor, of a professional with experience, with qualifications such as yourself. Especially when, for radio show listeners, for podcast viewers, there's no cost for that. Double checking things with you, that is the service that you provide.
Oh yeah, Peter, we're glad to. We just hope we can help somebody.
Pick up the phone to be in touch. 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. John, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Peter. Great to be here. Have a good week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services, Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.